So if you understand the strings and list, other data types are very simple. And yeah, so here what is mutability, what is immutability, so this also will talk in introduction itself. And after this, after list, we will talking about tuple. So tuple will not take much time. So tuple is kind of half day or half session, or maybe max one session, because list and tuple are kind of very similar. We need to understand what is the difference between list and tuple. So after tuple, we are going to discuss about dictionaries. So again, dictionaries are very important. So throughout Python, right? Throughout Python, in our day-to-day programming, what and all data types we use means strings, list, and dictionaries. Strings, list, and dictionaries. So these things you must know. So dictionaries also we are going to spend around 5 sessions. Every data type we are going to talk about in detail. So after each and every class, or after each and every topic, you go back and Google about those topics and let me know. So if I miss anything, my gut feeling is like I don't miss anything. So I'm going to cover in detail about all these data types. So after each and every topic, you can go back and Google about these topics. If you miss anything, please let me know. I'll cover that. But my gut feeling is I'll not be missing any of the concept. Okay, yeah, after all these things, I'll talk about these functions. So these things, these argument passing, default argument, keyword argument, these things should come here actually. Okay, so these scope rules and global scope, local scope, and return keyword, all these things we'll cover in functions. And in the functions itself, after we complete the functions, we will be talking about decorators for interview purpose. These things are very important. So once we complete the as I said, functions itself will take 5 to 7 sessions. So if we add decorators, lambda functions, map functions, filter function, and one more is there, reduce function. So those things will take another 2 to 3 sessions. That means almost around 10 days, 10 sessions we will be talking about only on functions. So and these lambda, map, filter, reduce is not mentioned here, reduce functions and decorators are very important for interview purpose. These things are very important. So out of these things we may use decorators regularly, but you must know these lambda functions, map functions, filter functions. So these are the things. Actually same thing we can write, same logic we can write with functions or lambda functions, map functions, filter functions. So when to use which concept is very important. So without this also you can learn Python, without this also you can write program, but these are the effective way of writing your Python code. Python codes, and these are important for interview purpose. And another important thing for interview is list comprehensions. So these things we are going to cover in depth. So I'm going to give exercises also about all these things which are important for interview. Okay, and yeah, everyone following, right? Yes or no?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, okay, good. So after functions, we are going to talk about file operations. So file operations will be around 2 to 3 days. So binary files and executable files, text files, both the things we are going to talk about file operations. And after that, we will be talking about exceptions, how to handle exceptions. So exceptions will be around 1 to 1.5 hour session. That means around two sessions. Okay, and next, regular expressions we are not going to cover in our session. So if time permits, we may cover this, but this regular expression I'm not going to cover because this is not that much important when compared to other actual Python actually. So this regular expression anyone can learn. This is not that much. This may be useful, but this is not the one which we use in our day-to-day programming. Okay, so in this syllabus, this regular expression I'm not going to cover. Maybe if time permits, then we will see about that, or at least I'll try to give some introduction, or I'll to show. Maybe I'll be showing how to use regular expression and all. Okay, because there is no nothing logic or anything to learn about this. So it is just how you can use these regular expressions. That's what you need to know. Okay. And yeah, debugging we will see. After all these things, we'll talk about debugging. And so once we complete this, then we will be talking about object oriented programming. So what is object oriented programming? What is class? What is object? How to create your class? And what are the different type of methods, different type of variables in methods? What is constructor? And destructor is not mentioned here. So what is destructor? And inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, and overloading, and these magic methods. So if you know any other object oriented programming, I think as per yesterday's introduction about you people, what I understood is most of the people don't know about this object oriented programming, and most of the people are new to programming languages itself except one or two. So object oriented programming, yesterday I said, so core Python is kind of more theory and more practice. And when it comes to object oriented programming, so we need to learn the concept, we need to understand the concept. So if you understand the concept, right, concept wise it is very small only, but you have to practice more. And and whenever you are learning this object oriented programming, if you are newbie to object oriented programming, it will confuse you like anything. So when I'm explaining today's topic, say if I'm talking about inheritance and what is constructor, all these things, you feel like you are understanding and you know everything. But once you start writing your program, or if you give a break of one day or 2 day, then everything will be bouncers only. So you need more practice when we are talking about object oriented programming. If you are a fresher, interviewer may not concentrate much on object oriented programming. That doesn't mean that they won't ask, they'll definitely ask object oriented programming. But if you are experienced, so interviewer may concentrate more on object oriented programming concepts. And the advantage in Python is see, what are the in general object oriented programming means, we'll be talking about inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, and data hiding, kind of these are the concepts which are related to object oriented programming, and these concepts will be there in all the object oriented programming like C++ or Java. But the advantage in Python is all these things Python will not support. All these things Python will not support about in polymorphism and encapsulation. So most of the things Python will not support, so we will discuss why it is not supported. Python, why it is not supported, because it is already having those features in another way, in some other way. So you need to understand those things very clearly. So we are going to talk about these things in detail. So even though it is not supported in Python, we will understand why it is not supported in Python. So that thing, that clear clear understanding you must be having. So this is about Python syllabus. So about Django syllabus, we'll talk in maybe in one of the session. Yeah, maybe. So in Django, this is not full stack course. So full stack in the sense, we will be talking about all the front end technologies. But here in our Django course, we are not going to spend much time on this HTML, CSS, JavaScript. These things maybe I'll be giving some basic introduction, and how much we need to develop any Django application. So that much only we are going to cover. So we are not going to spend any time on these front end technologies like HTML. Maybe I'll be talking in 1 or 2 days, 2 sessions. So CSS maybe I'll talk in one session, and JavaScript maybe I'll be talking in one session. But so upfront I'm telling, so we are not going to cover these things in detail. So if you wish to learn, you can learn on your own about these front end technologies. So if we talk about this front end technology, this is these things are kind of never ending process. Okay. And so in general, if you are a Django developer means, so you'll be writing these backend technologies. So in all the companies, in most of the companies, there will be two separate teams for development, and front end people will be separate. Separate resources will be there for these front end technology developers. Front end technology developers will be there separately. But you must be knowing how to use these HTML and CSS. So that part I'll be taking care. And yeah, again about introduction about Django. So this will take around 2 sessions, and after that this MVT architecture. MVT means model view, and template architecture. So knowing about this MVT architecture, nothing but knowing about Django. Knowing about this MVT architecture, nothing but knowing about your Django. So that's what here we all these things will talk about models, different type of models, different type of views and templates. Yeah, after this, yeah, loops, all these things. Anyway, these things will come in Python itself and CRUD operations. And yeah, what is this Django admin? We'll talk in first session itself. So while creating the project, this will come first only. This is not last. And yeah, creating forms and creating model forms. And after this, what is not mentioned here is how to deploy your Python project, Django project. So deploying your Django application in your one of the server. Okay. So any questions in syllabus, or if you want to ask something, you want to add anything here, everyone? You guys can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Everyone clear about syllabus?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, so yeah, so now who is asking that question? Why it is becoming extensively used? So why Python is becoming popular, or why it is extensively used when compared to Java or .NET is for all these reasons. Yesterday we discussed. So when Python was invented, all these things are not that much popular, and nowadays only because of this internet, high speed processors, high speed RAMs and all, for all these applications Python is best suitable programming language. And another important thing is why Python is so popular, because of huge library support. You can see this eighth point. It is having extensive library support, huge library support. What is the meaning of library support means? Most of the logics are already available. Most of the logics are now already available. No need to write from no need to write your project from the scratch. So there are huge amount of libraries available. So if you take Django itself, so if you want to develop any web application, right, no need to write from the scratch. So the Django framework itself will give you so much of things. So it's just that you need to know how to use those libraries. So what is the advantage if you have libraries? No need to write your code again. No need to start from scratch, so that the speed of implementation will improve like anything, because most of the libraries are already available and those are well tested. So if you make use of those libraries, right? So uh, you can straight away start using it and no need to test more about those libraries. Otherwise, if you start writing your own logic, right? So you need to spend time to write the logic, and also you need to spend time to test your logic also. So this is another reason why people are using it extensively. And another important reason is it is free and open source. So free means no need to pay to anything to anyone. Anyone can download, anyone can use it. But it is not like Java and .NET are not like that, right? So for those are commercial. Yeah, maybe we'll talk about all these features one after another. Yeah, before we talk about features, I'll cover some maybe five, six features today. Before we talk about that, any questions? So silent.
Just a question, like maybe before you just jump onto the
Yeah,
starting the
excuse me.
Yeah,
starting
please go ahead one after another.
Hello.
Yes, 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 go ahead, Vinay.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, Vinay, tell me. You
Yeah,
are audible.
actually, I don't know for what reason frameworks are using.
For what reason?
Framework, in Python, we are using frameworks, right? Like robot, Django.
Hmm.
This is considered the frameworks, right? So for what reason
Yeah,
it is
those are
used?
frameworks. Yeah, because Django framework is used for web application development.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you use Django, there are inbuilt libraries are there. What and all things needed to develop a web application, most of the things will be provided by Django itself. So you no need to write, you no need to implement from the scratch. Like say login application, security, all these things are pre-built. You can straight away start using it. So no need to start from the beginning. Same way with Robo framework
Okay.
also. Yeah.
Okay, the libraries and frameworks is both are the same, right? Not
Libraries is
different.
different from framework. So framework
Well,
will give
not
you
the
the
same as a
environment.
framework, like no need to write a code
Framework,
again and
yeah, yeah. So let me explain. So framework will give you the environment to run your project or to implement your project. So with framework uses libraries also. So with
okay.
libraries plus framework, using libraries plus framework, you will be able to, it will make our job very simple. So libraries you can use anywhere. For each and everything, there are plenty of libraries are there. For web development, there are some libraries are there. For Robo framework, for automation, some libraries are there. For data science related applications, some libraries are there.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Okay, understood.
Yeah. So anyway, we are going to talk about it once again when we are talking about Django. Purushottam, you are asking something?
Yeah, just before you jump on the features, I know like I maybe as you see like a different, I mean, the mixed audience on the class. So some of them might be
That's
in
okay.
experience, they know how to use it. Some of them might be new. Maybe you can
Yeah.
spend 5 to 10 minutes, like see if they want like after your class they want to practice maybe which editor they can download it or Visual
Yes.
Studio,
Yes.
whatever, right? Maybe that will maybe you
Yeah.
can start from there. That will be good.
Yeah. That
So yeah, that's my
actually
opinion.
the
But
next topic. Yeah, that will be next topic once we talk about these features and all. So when we start our first Python program, right? At that time I'll be telling. But as you asked, which editor is used? So actually, if you are beginner, you have to use Notepad. Don't use any editors. So that Visual Studio Code or PyCharm or any other editors are, the problem with those editors is once you start typing, right, it will keep on giving suggestions. So about the indentation, about where you are opening, where you are closing, all those suggestions it will give. If you are writing any error, if you are missing any syntax means, then it will highlight those syntax. So what will happen? You won't learn much. So I prefer to learn to start coding in plain notepad. So what happens if you will write in notepad? It is very dumb. So whatever you type, it will take. It is not any. It does not have any intelligence. So what will happen is you will do more mistakes. So that's how you will learn more. At least for complete Python core plus advanced, try to use notepad only. Don't use any editors. Understood? I'll be explaining how to write your code in Notepad and how to run that. Okay. So I'm not going to talk about any editors. So once you install Python, right? So it will give one editor. One ideally it will give. So that I'll be talking about, but I'm not going to explain anything about any other editor. So it is highly recommended to practice in Notepad. So any Python trainer will tell the same. Okay. Yeah. So we'll talk about some of the features. So the first and foremost thing is Python is very simple. So simple and easy to learn. So simple in the sense easy to learn, easy to write, easy to read also. Readability also very good when you when compared to other programming languages. So whenever you are writing a code means it is not just for you, right? So you will be definitely working in a team. So the code whatever you have written must be understandable easily by other team members. So that is what we call it as readability. So whatever the code you have written, you can understand. but your code must be in a way that others should be able to understand. It should be easy to read, easy to read. So Python is very simple, so readability also very good when compared to other programming languages. And Python is high level programming language, high level and general purpose programming language. So general purpose programming language means we can use it for all the applications. So it is not specific to only one application. We can develop desktop applications, web application, gamings, network applications, data science applications, IoT, automation. Everywhere you can use Python. So that is what we call it as general purpose programming language. It is not for any single purpose or anything. So why Python can be used for any kind of application. So that's how we call it as general purpose programming language. And what is high level programming language? So if you remember, we will be having three different type of programming languages: high level, middle level, and low level. C programming language, we call it as middle level programming language, and assembly language we call it as low level programming language. Low level programming language nothing but it will directly talk to the CPU, right? High level programming language, in simple words, any high level programming language is programmer friendly but not machine friendly. Say for example, say if you remember any C programming, right, in your academics. So how we declare a variable? Something like this: int a equal to some 10. This is how we will declare our variable. So before this, we need to include the header files. We need to write main, and we need to open and close the braces. Within the braces, you need to write your logic. Correct. So if you take this statement, so what you are conveying to C compiler is a is a variable of type what? Integer. Of type what? Integer. So, and this is how we write in C. Say for example, in Python, how we will write same thing. So a equal to 10. That's it. This is the syntax in Python. This is the syntax in C programming language. If you try to observe the difference, here some of the things as a programmer you are conveying. You are conveying saying that a is a integer type variable. So assign so much of memory, this much of memory, and in this section you need to assign this. In this section you need to save your these variables. All those things, by saying this, you will be Python compiler will understand. Whereas in sorry, this is C. Whereas Python interpreter, Python virtual machine. So I'll simply say a equal to 10. So as a programmer, we are not doing so many things here. We are not conveying what kind of data type it is. So once you say a equal to 10, Python virtual machine has to do some extra processing what to evaluate what kind of variable it is. Here you are giving some of the things, but here as a programmer you are not doing anything. So Python virtual machine has to evaluate some of the things here. Correct. So because as Python has to spend some more time to evaluate what kind of variable it is, right? So it will take some time when compared to this, when compared to middle level programming language or low level programming languages. So this is what we call it as high level programming languages. As a programmer, you will be having very less things to do. You no need to take care of so many things. Python virtual machine will take care of those things. So that is what we call it as high level programming language. It is programmer friendly, but actually it is not machine friendly. Because why we say it is not machine friendly? Because we are giving extra job. We are asking machine to do extra job. Understood? High level? Why we call it as high level programming language? Everyone? Yes or no? So silent. Is the session is very boring?
Yeah, understood.
Okay. Next is it is free and open source. So both are actually different. Most of the people think that freeware and open source both are same, but actually not. Freeware means anyone can download it for free, anyone can use it for free. No need to pay anything to anyone. But if you wish to donate to Python organization, you can definitely donate. But in order to use Python software, it is completely free. And what is the meaning of open source? Anyone know about open source projects? Nowadays, every company is using open source projects and it is becoming popular. Any idea what is open source means?
The
Yeah.
people like you and me, we can just make a changes and add it to the new functionality.
Correct. Yeah, correct. So open source nothing but even the source code also available. So source code of Python also available. So what is the advantage if you have the source code? So if you want to add some new features, you can add. Or if you don't want some of the features, you can delete. Basically, you can customize your own version of Python. Whereas if you take .NET or Java, so if you want to add some new features, you can't add it because the source code of Java or .NET is not available. Only Microsoft or Java Corporation only can add, or those people only can delete. But advantage with Python is as it is open source, even the source code also available. I'll be showing where to download the Python source code. So as the source code is available, you can basically customize your own version of Python. If you want to add some of the features, you can add, or if you don't want some of the features, you can delete. So that is the advantage of open source projects. So Python is open source, free and open source. And another thing is it is platform independent. So platform independent nothing but, so what are the famous platforms we are having? Platform nothing but in this case it is operating system. So Linux, Windows, Mac, right? So Python is platform independent. That means if you write your program on Windows, same program can run on Mac, same program can run on IBM machine, same program can run on Linux. So as a programmer, we no need to do any extra stuff to make it run on different platforms. So if your program is running on Windows, so straight away same program can run on Linux, same program can run on Mac. This is what we call it as platform dependent. If you take example of C programming or C++, right, those are platform dependent. If you write a program on Windows, same program may not run on Linux, or it may give, if it is running also, it may give some different results, not expected results. So those are platform dependent programming languages. So Python is platform independent. So programmer no need to worry on which platform you are going to run your application. So we are saying it is portable nothing but just because it is platform independent. So maybe today you are using Windows platform, tomorrow you can straight away move it to Linux platform. So portable means moving from one place to another place easily, right? So platform independent, Python is platform independent. So independent means any platform. So as a programmer, you no need to worry on which platform you are writing your program. So Python virtual machine will take care of all those things. Okay. And another important thing is dynamically typed programming language. So there are two different types of programming languages are there: statically typed and dynamically typed. So just now we have seen here. So in C programming, we will be conveying here what kind of variable it is. So this is what we call it as statically typed programming language. Whereas dynamically typed means, so you no need to convey what kind of variable it is. So now I said a equal to 10. So this is of type what? So I can ask Python what is the type of this a. So this is of type integer. And I'll take some a equal to 10.45, some 10.4. This is of type what? This is of type floating point value. This is float. So this is what we call it as dynamically typed. I'll take some string. So what is the type of S? Type of S is string. So you no need to convey, as a programmer, you no need to convey what kind of variable you are going to use. So Python is dynamically typed programming language. Based on the value we assign, it will be treated as, it will evaluate and it will be treated as integer. So this will be treated as float. This will be treated as string variable. Understood? So this is what we call it as dynamically typed programming language. Yeah, so maybe I'll stop here now. We'll continue in next session. Any questions? Who is this? Valentino, Bharat, Pujita, Jairam, Manikanta, Vinay. Any questions? Purushottam, Purush. Any questions from anyone?
I want to ask from yesterday
Yes, please.
that what is the difference between data analysis and data science and machine learning so that I can shift to that from automation.
Hmm. Yeah,
Is it
so
good?
yesterday I was talking about those things. By that time, I got disconnected.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so data science, data analysis, machine learning, artificial intelligence, all these comes under a single umbrella. So where this data is important. And as I said yesterday, so data science or all these things are nowadays, there are so much of scope is there in the industry, and those things are highly paid jobs. But it will not be suitable for everyone. So first you need to understand whether you are suitable for that job or not. First you need to understand. So now everyone can learn. Actually there are so many training courses are there for data science and all, but it is not easy actually. So you first understand whether you will be fitting into that or not. So in simple example, so what is this data analysis is? Yeah, yesterday I was talking about this Zomato or Swiggy example. Say, or you might be observed, right? This thing. So whenever you are browsing something, you Googled, you want to buy some phone or you want to buy some TV. So what we will do nowadays, we'll just Google it. What are the latest mobile models or what are the latest TV models and all. So the moment you search in Google, have you ever observed? So those related ads keep on coming in your Facebook or Instagram, or if you open any other browser, if you open any website, like for example, you open some newspaper. So all those related ads will be keep on coming to you. Anyone observed those things?
Yes.
Yeah. So how is it possible? Because of this data analysis. So initial days, what we used to happen is like if you want to give some ad means it will be given to everyone. So what is the use? Say for example, you are sending some messages, ad messages. So if you send to everyone, no use, right? So if you are sending some say some this training course related advertisement you want to post. So if this related ad, training institute ad, if it posts to some farmer, a farmer which is using his Facebook or YouTube, so what is the use? No use, right? Unnecessarily waste of these things. So instead of that, what we call it as knocking the exact door, knocking the correct customer, knocking the correct customer door. So what is the advantage? So instead of reaching to everyone, so you will be reaching out to only the people who are looking at those services. So how these things will be happening? Because of this data analysis. So Google will be keep on collecting your data. So they will analyze your data. So if you search some product, so those related products ads will be keep on coming to your any web page or Facebook or Instagram, and even you will get those related messages also. You are looking for some spa or salon, so immediately the moment you Google, so those related ads keep on coming, those related messages we will be getting. So the moment you search for personal loan, so immediately you will get a message. So how all these things will be possible? Because of analyzing your data. So you are searching something means you are generating some data. You are searching something means you are generating some data. You opened your browser, you just said hi, then also it will Google will collect your data. You selected which are the nearby restaurants. So that means you generated some data. So immediately your data will be processed, and what are the restaurant related to nearby your area. So all those related information will come to you. Correct. And yeah,
Okay.
one more example is, so if you take this Swiggy or Zomato example or any online application, any online shopping example, right? So you ordered some food. So the moment you order some food, what and all data you are generating? See, so in which location you are, so what and all Zomato or Swiggy, what and all data they'll collect. So which location you are, how much distance is there, so what kind of food you are preferring, huh? And also after you add, right, so it will take feedback also, so rate your food, so it will collect your feedback also. So by taking all these data, how it analyze, so at the end of a month you will be having complete data. So now once your data is available, what and data you will be having, like in which restaurants, like more orders are there, in particular restaurant which item is selling more, in particular restaurant which item is not selling more, so for which item they are getting more reviews, for which item they are getting less reviews. So what is the advantage if we have that data? So now after processing all these data, so Zomato or Swiggy can tell to the restaurant saying that, so this is the dish you are selling more, so next month onwards improve your quantity. So for this particular dish you are getting less ratings, so improve your quality, so improve your packing, huh? Or improve some quantity. All these things will be analyzed and it will be given to the restaurants or hotels, so that they can improve, so that they can improve their business. So this is just one example. So same example will applicable for on all online shopping, etc., etc. So nowadays, if you want to buy anything, so what we do, we search for reviews, right? So they will
Mm.
analyze all these reviews also. So based on the reviews only, any company or any shopkeeper can improve themselves. So where we are lagging and where we need to improve. So for that, whether they are spending anything, no. So as a user, you are generating data for free of cost. They are making your data, they are making money with your data. So we are just a product to corporate companies. So data is very, very important nowadays. This is just to give some brief introduction. Maybe in one of the session again we'll talk more about this data analysis, data science, all these things. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?